Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make homemade gumdrops. Making your own homemade candy at home can seem a little bit intimidating, but I'm here to walk you through every step of this process. We're gonna get things set up first before we make the actual gumdrops. First, we need some special equipment. You see that I have some silicone molds here. They come in a variety of shapes and sizes, so I have some hearts and some flowers, and then I even have this square one. We'll use all three today to show you how that works. You can buy them at kitchen supply stores or craft stores, or you can buy them online. You'll also need some extracts for flavorings, and you can use whatever you'd like. I'm gonna use lemon today, and you'll also need some food coloring, and I am using neon colors because they are just so cute. Next, we'll take the flavoring and food coloring and get everything set up for once our gumdrop mixture is ready. I have 4 glass measuring cups set up, and I'm gonna put 3 drops of food coloring into each one because I'm gonna make 4 different colors. We have pink, and we have blue, and then this next one is kind of this neon yellow / green that looks really fun and funky. And last I have a purple. And then last you'll put half a teaspoon of extract, whatever flavor you decide to use, in each one. And this is really fun because you can do different flavors for each one, so you can use like lemon or orange or peppermint, or even a mixture like I did raspberry lemon once, and those were really good too. So feel free to mix and match and customize this to your own personal taste preferences. Once you have this all set up, we can head on over to the stove and make our gumdrop mixture. Pour 6 packets of gelatin into a large pot. Gelatin is usually sold in these little packets, and you do need 6 of them. If you buy it in bulk so that it's not in packets, you'll need 4 tablespoons plus 1½ teaspoons is the equivalent of 6 packets. Then pour 1 cup of cold water over the gelatin. You want to give this a little bit of a stir so that all of the gelatin is moistened. Then we're going to let this sit. It'll need to sit in the pot like this for 5 whole minutes, and it'll kind of harden up. In the meantime, we'll take 1½ cups of water. I'm going to pop it in the microwave and bring it to a boil. We'll pour that boiling water right over the top of the gelatin. Then stir this all up, and you kind of have to scrape the gelatin mixture off the bottom. And you want it to dissolve in that hot, almost boiling water. And we're doing this all over no heat. So you want to stir it for about a minute until everything is dissolved. Then, once that's dissolved, we'll pour in 4 cups of granulated sugar and stir that in until it's dissolved as well. Once the sugar is dissolved, we're gonna bring this to a simmer over medium-high heat, and you're about to find out why we put this in such a large pot. Because you'll see, once it comes to a simmer, it really comes to a simmer. At this point, reduce the heat to medium-low and keep on stirring. 250 degrees, which we're going a little bit over. Good thing there's a 5-degree leeway in this. So turn off the heat, then we'll pour a little bit, about a cup, into each one of these, and you can see when that gumdrop liquid hits the extract and the dye, it does bubble and boil right up. So let's pour it and divide it somewhat evenly. Come back through here and even things up. And then you want to just give each one a quick stir to make sure that dye and the extract is well mixed in. Make sure you use a different spoon for each one. You don't want to be mixing up those colors. Then we'll slowly pour our gumdrop mixture into each of the molds. Now you can see that I like to put my molds onto a baking sheet, and that just makes it so that they're easier to move around my kitchen. Just pour nice and slow and fill each little hole in the mold to the top. You don't want these to spill over, so just go slow and have a steady hand. Pretty soon you'll have used up all of your gumdrop mixture. Let these sit in the mold at room temperature for about 12 hours. And yeah, that's kind of a long time, but hey, it's just overnight. Then you'll need to place about a cup of sugar in a bowl so that we can roll our gummies in there. And if you've ever wondered how they make things like Sour Patch Kids, they add in about a tablespoon of citric acid, and you mix that in. Citric acid can be purchased near the canning supplies at your grocery store. Just make sure you take it easy with the citric acid because it tastes terrible in large amounts. So start small on that one. You can always just do this with plain sugar. You don't need to make them sour too. Then after the gummies have set up, I'm going to invert the silicone mold and gently peel off the sticky little gummy. It's pretty sticky, but once you start rolling it in that sugar, it'll no longer stick to your fingers and you can get it all coated with your sugar mixture. Now with those bigger square molds, I'm going to cut them into 4 pieces so I have little cubes of gumdrops for those, but then with these little hearts and the flowers, I can just pop those out because they are bite-sized pieces. Now if you're like me and you want to cut your gummies, you'll want to keep a damp paper towel on hand and moisten your knife before you try and cut your gummies. This will prevent the gummies from totally just sticking up to your knife and causing a huge mess. Soon you'll end up with a nice pile of gummies. And you can see that these are nice and gummy. And that's it. These are ready to eat. You can leave them on the counter at room temperature to crystallize for up to several weeks. They stay good for a really long time, so you can enjoy them whenever you'd like. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and check out the rest of my videos where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. See you later.